Um, yeah, let's get started. So in this section, we're gonna be looking at like planning video content. We're gonna think about why and how to communicate a visual idea. And we're also gonna work on creating like a mood board in our activity. So there's many reasons to plan, obviously, but three reasons that we're gonna talk about now are cohesive and intentional brand image, um, and talk about the planning phase as an opportunity to communicate and pitch ideas, and also as a space to work with others. So firstly, the cohesive and intentional brand image um, component. So again, here's the UBC Instagram and BC Parks Instagram. So they have two distinct brand images. The first thing that I notice about them are the organicism of the images. So the UBC page seems to be, the images all seem to be professionally produced, or they're like of a certain standard, I think. Like they all look like someone used like a real camera to take the photos. While on the BC Parks page, they have some photos where it looks like it's just taken with a smartphone. So on like some questions we can ask about this content are like, if everything is too perfect, like does it feel a little bit too corporate? So maybe that's what I would think about when I look at the UBC page, while the BC Parks page seems a little bit more organic, which makes sense like in the like considering their brand image. Um, yeah, so this example we can see from these photos are from the BC Parks page, and yeah, so the photo on the left looks more like it has been taken with a smartphone. You can tell because of the dynamic range, um, and also just it's not the depth of field isn't that shallow, while the more like professionally produced one, the one that's using like a real camera, um, is this image on the right. So each image can produce like or it can convey different information. Yeah, so ultimately we want to think about how um, our production choices, our compositional choices, how they reflect our brand image. Yeah, so knowing how to communicate visual ideas is very important for getting approval for content from whoever's supervising you, or like if you're in charge of it, then whoever's uh, like underneath you. Okay, I don't like to use that term, but like the people you're in charge of. Yeah, and planning is also important for collaborating with others. Um, yeah, so for community partners, you guys are working with the students. It's important that everyone's on the same page about what what the deliverable ultimately looks like at the end. So the planning stage is like where you guys talk about all this stuff. Um, yeah, so like how do we communicate a visual idea? So a tool for this is the mood board, which we're going to be looking at now. It's a tool for content creators, and it allows us to present visual ideas. It's also a sandbox for developing and planning a piece of content, and we can use it to communicate with others before we go and create the real thing. I'm just going to have a drink of water. Um, oh yeah, and I just want to point out what Richard posted in the chat, which is some guidelines for photography from UBC. Yeah, so what is a mood board? It's a collection of visual references, and it can help you come up with an idea or flesh out a concept that you already have. It's usually used early in the process when all you have might just be a prompt. Like for example, if you've been tasked with making a video about sustainability or helping others, you can use the mood board to find images that can give you a sense of the direction you want to go in for the video before you actually have like a concrete like idea about what the whole video is going to look like. Yeah, so no matter how little information you're starting with or how much, starting with a mood board is a good way to present your visual concept with those people that need like you need approval from. Yeah, so this mood board that I'm showing here, like one of my friends made it. I think one of the visual concepts he was inspired by was like mirrors. So he gathered a lot of images of mirrors and just like he wanted to study the materiality of it. Yeah, so this is a mood board of distortion effects. And lastly, this one just shows some cloth, which are, these are like very visually heavy mood boards, but mood boards can also contain like narrative elements that you want in your video. So we're gonna head on to Google Slides again. There's some more examples there, and then we're also gonna create our own mood boards after that. So if you guys could head on to the link that I shared in the chat. Okay, cool. Okay, see that everyone's on the mood board slides. So this first example, like one of my friends also made this. It's for an organization called Mission Central. So he created this mood board with like a distinct vision in mind. So we're gonna look at his final product first, and then we can go back to the mood board after to look at like how he presented his idea to the people who hired him for the project. So if we head on to the next slide, we can watch that video. Yeah, so like as we can see in the mood board, he has his like, so his inspiration was to do like this bird's eye angle, and we can see that in his final product. So when he was presenting to the people who hired him for the project, he used like these, he used the mood board and this set of images to kind of convey what his idea was. Example number 2, this is also another video that he made. It's using more stock footage, which you guys can also use for making social media content. One site to gather this video or these videos from is Pexels. Okay, maybe we won't watch this one, but feel free to watch it after if you want. If we go to slide 8 and 9, we can see the mood boards that he used to demonstrate the vision he was going for. Yeah, so you can also include like narrative elements in the mood board. Yeah, and I told my friend I'd give him exposure in exchange for letting me use his mood boards. Yeah, so here are some notes on mood boards. So mood boards are able to convey direction in a brief manner. And so we can use images to communicate the vision and communicate the mood of content. If we don't really have that concept laid out yet, you can use mood boards to explore like different visual elements that you might want to include in your actual video. Yeah, so they can include text and narrative elements if you have that like thought out already. Okay, so we're gonna work on the mood board activity now. So here's the prompt for the activity. You guys can feel free to use your own prompt as well. So you have been tasked with creating a short community engagement video related to either Valentine's or St. Patrick's Day for social media by your organization. The boss would like to see your concept before committing the resources to produce the video. Create a mood board to sell your idea. So here are the instructions for this activity. So come up with a visual or narrative concept that highlights your organization and the celebratory date that you choose. So either Valentine's Day, since that just passed, or St. Patrick's Day. And find at least 5 images to showcase your vision for the video. Or that can also be like what visual element you want to explore. Yeah, so think about how these images show your vision. So we'll take 15 minutes to do that. And then after, I guess since there's not that many of us, we can just share in this group. And here's another example, or if you need an example of a concept, there's one I found here. You can just watch this briefly. Cool. So the concept there for that video, I think it's like you have like a cute, funny moose skating and happy holidays text. So that's like pretty simple. You have that visual, and then you have the information you want to convey as text. Yeah. So yeah, remember, even a simple concept requires some intentionality. Like they had a plan to do that. Yeah, so you guys can go ahead and get started. Yeah. So how about work on this until 2:50, and then we can take a look. Okay. So it looks like it's 2:50. I think the first one, is that yours, Zoe?
Yeah, that's mine.
Would you like to share with us what your concept is or what your idea is?
Sure. So Lotus Harvest Foundation is a local urban agriculture organization. We convert front and backyards into communal growing spaces and teach people how to grow their food together. So for Earth Day, it'd be great if we could do some video promotion once hopefully restrictions are reduced and we're starting the growing season. And key things to highlight there is this is actually radishes, which are one of the first crops that will be ready around Earth Day. Different herbs and the beneficial impacts of not just food for us, but also food for all the other animals around us in this biosphere. And then one of the key highlights for us is that environmental activism work is not just an individual endeavor. There's a lot of work places on it. It's really community working to change larger systems and to build more resilience within themselves. So really highlighting that this is a group that we're working together with. That's not an individual, like you're not growing your own food, you're growing food for everyone. Yeah, so these are some of the key concepts, lots of green in there, lots of people. Obviously COVID would change a lot of how this would actually be shot and like what the options will be in the future, and be more actual like food production, but there aren't many stock photos of that happening. So yeah.
Thank you. Thanks for sharing. Yeah, I think your photos conveyed your concept really well. Yeah, I could totally see this being like a real project. Sandy, would you feel comfortable? I'm guessing this is yours, right?
I was trying to go with Valentine's with the idea of different locations for celebrating, but I got lost in finding pictures and I got too much nature and not enough people.
Oh, that's okay. Yeah, we didn't have much time to work on this, which is okay. But yeah, this is a good start, I think. Yeah, so I hope you guys like felt a little bit of the power of like images to kind of convey like what information you want to share and what like the ultimate like the final product will actually be about. Richard, I think this is yours. So the Valentine's We Love Media. Okay, yeah, that has to be yours because it's BMS.
Yeah. I was trying to put together Valentine's Day with media studies, and I was like, okay, like we love media, and just a little bit, like taking advantage of this the selfies, but it's sometimes you see all of these pictures in which in couples, like one partner, takes the shot of the other partner, but you only see one of them because the other one is taking the picture. So some of them look like that, but it may be just selfies. And you can play with the idea that that not everybody is in couples together, but we still have media, so we can still to have some fun. But then our relationship at that moment is probably with just media, a camera, a video camera, or something like that.
Oh, cool. Yeah, your images totally convey that. Yeah, so that's it for mood boards, but I hope like you guys have found it to be like something helpful, like a tool that you can use. And then like the people who are working with you they can also use this tool to help you guys like work or make an actual finished video content. Yeah, so that's pretty much it. Just to wrap up. Yeah, so if you guys want more information about like actually acquiring content, like the more technical bits, as Richard mentioned earlier, there is a web course available to look at that. I'll just share the link one more time. Yeah, so that's it. Thank you guys for attending. We can take a few minutes to answer any questions you guys might have about any of the stuff we covered today or any technical things you may have encountered working with the students. But feel free to leave as well if you don't have any questions.